entrepreneur, strategy and performance consultant, and executive and transformation coach. He works with corporates, family-owned businesses, startups, governments, institutions, and individuals. So, thank you, Sai sir, for joining us. The last session was too amazing. We hope this one will be. And also, we need Mangal sir. He's HR evangelist with more than 25 years of variegated HR experience in managing the entire gamut of HR in startups rapidly expanding for fast-paced companies at global level. So thank you, Vinny sir, for joining us again. So yeah, I would like to give you both you the virtual stage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anurag, one thing that you left out is that Vineet and I are also GLA students in terms of our PhDs. So don't forget that. We are a part of the university as much as any one of you is. Also, both of us are also partners in our work. I'll just add that for two others. So while all of you are watching, one more thing that we want you to take away from today's session, that how you can actually join hands with somebody and be complementary. Even if you just notice the way we are both going to present ourselves today. Yeah, so those will be some additional lessons for all of you. So remember this, sometimes entrepreneurs and great companies are not just born of you being a lone warrior. You have to get support system. You have to get somebody who you can depend on. Like Vineet and I depend on each other. Vineet?
Absolutely. I think what Sai is saying, you will see that what we are going to present, we have tried to do it in a very different manner. And what Pramodji said, ask a lot of questions. In fact, the whole design of today's session is on questions only. Some questions we have, some questions we want you to ask, and some questions you have to take home also and do the puzzle solving yourself. So as we know, the last time I had done the session on investor and Sai did it on design thinking. So the boot camp also, we just wanted to have a link little bit with what we spoke last time. And the structure of the program is, let's see, we will talk about, we are creating a lens through which we have 5 lenses. And in these 5 lenses, we wanted to have a question. And you can look it from each perspective and then reflect more from the entrepreneurship journey, as well as a student also, but more from the entrepreneurship side. So the first lens which we are going to use is of an entrepreneur by choice. And I always say that, is it a choice or something which you have been forced upon? So you wanted to become an entrepreneur. From where is it coming? So it will come, the question should be answered by you, that why are you getting into an entrepreneurship? Is there some specific SWOT you have done which makes you feel that I should choose this over the job, or I should do it otherwise? And one of the favorite thing which I always say that is an entrepreneurship for you is a fashion or a passion. So you have to choose between, for many people it is a fashion because everyone else is becoming an entrepreneur. So we should also become it. But if it is a passion, then I think it is more driven and which is more long lasting in the future. And design
Indeed,
is a
yeah.
size, so I think you can speak more on that.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, and in putting it in a very raw Indian way, what Vineet actually meant was "Dhanda karo to dil se karo, varna bilkul mat karna." Isn't it, Vineet? They need to put their heart and soul into it. Yeah. Now, imagine you're made the choice to become an entrepreneur. The next step that you need to take is design things well. I spoke to you last week about this. And the big point here is an idea is not equal to a business. A bunch of activities is not equal to a business. You being an expert in certain area is not business. What you have to understand is that business is a bunch of solutions that you need to build. Everything from internal solutions of who's going to do what, all the way to who's going to buy, how are you going to get the product to the service to the customer, how will you collect money. Everything has to be by design. So the product, service, the working of the company itself has to be designed by design. If you don't do this, you will still fail if you're just doing the first step. So again, combine. Vineet, over to you for the next point.
Absolutely. So once you have had a right choice, you have put things on the design. The third thing which obviously come is the systems. And why we say system? Because many times we have seen people undermine this particular role. They think जब बड़े होंगे तब देख लेंगे systems कैसे होंगे. But I think as an entrepreneur, if you keep this at the back of your mind all the time, that systems are required when the businesses are going to get complex. And decision making will become more complex and much more spontaneous that is required. So if you are not having a system, it will be more like a turbulence, which is going to happen. Organization is going to get pulled from different sides, and that should not happen. In fact, you should always keep one thing very simple in mind, that people cannot be larger than organizations, and personalities cannot be larger than the people. So that is one thing which is going to drive your organizations. Early stage, I'm not saying that you put a SOPs and the big quality systems in place from day one or have a very structured organization, but your orientation towards system, your openness towards the system should always be there. Because if that is not followed, something or the other will get compromised in the long run.
And as you discover systems and start working according to them in the organization, the other big challenge that you will continuously keep facing is I need to improve the organization. So every time you look at a new system, you'll realize, there's something upstream or downstream that I need to change. If you don't do that, if you just make localized changes, or in the terms of systems theory and operations management, if we say, if you only keep doing localized maxima, you will not get the results at the end of it, because there is a whole host of other localized minimas which will keep taking away your whole charm of the design, right? So always remember, as much as you are doing things by choice, design, and systems, a lot of that fits in correctly at a micro level if you are making improvements. And only then will you essentially grow and make a business sustainable, and also have to have a chance of getting the return of investment many-fold over. Okay, Vineet?
This the last one, the lens which we have put. I'm sure many of you will have been trained it otherwise, that never call it a quit, never exit, always stay in the game. But we wanted to raise this particular point for you to question yourself. What is the time when you should exit, if at all you have to exit? And what is the process you should do it? Because one of the way of looking is that whether, in fact, that is a question, whether entrepreneurship should also have a shelf life. We all know that the products have a shelf life. The question is whether entrepreneurship should also be having some kind of a shelf life. And whenever that has to be executed, keep 2-3 things in mind. The first and the foremost thing is that when you're calling it as a quit, why are you calling it as a quit? Have you achieved your objective? And your objective can be anything. It could be the monetary objective. It could be to achieve one particular strata in the society, or you wanted to do it for a fixed term that has been achieved, then you can call it as a quit. If there are certain times forceful reasons for you to exit, maybe the market dynamics are changing, or maybe your personal situation is changing, make sure that you put it in a very graceful manner. Abrupt exit is always questionable and unappreciated. Graceful exit when you do, timely exit when you do, is much more appreciated in the market. And there are many examples, in Indian market where promoters have diluted stake and they have reached to a stage where everyone was expecting when are they going to quit. And when they quit, nobody got surprised because it was all writing on the wall. We should not get pushed to that corner where we are not able to take our decisions ourselves and somebody pushes us to do it. So the 2 cents advice in this is be gracious, always aware of the fact is that there can be situation when you have to exit. Never ever think that boss, मैं तो game में आ गया हूँ, मैं तो अब इस दुनिया में इसको करके ही चलूँगा. Never ever think that way. I know it is going to be little counter to what otherwise people are tutored to believe, but I believe that there has to be an exit plan also. There has to be a shelf life also. If you are prepared for it, your reaction to the whole situation will be far different. So these are the 5 lenses which me and Sai thought that we will just start with you on this so that you can always go back and do more understanding on this part of it. Jumping to the next slide, which is a continuation from what I showed last time when I was doing a presentation on investor deck. This is the favorite slide for those who have not seen it the last time. There has to be purpose of your business, and the purpose of the business can be larger than what you are doing it on day-to-day basis. But one question which you have to ask, that when you're getting into a business, why are you getting into a business? Is it to be a painkiller? Means that there is something, some problem in the society which you wanted to solve. It can be someone like a Uber who thought that there is a lot of underutilization of drivers in the market. So why can't we provide something which optimally utilize the driving space? Or you just wanted to be a vitamin in the organization. Something has achieved, you wanted to add another delta, you wanted to give a feel good factor or some kind of a betterment into the system. Advice is that, or it's not an advice rather, but it is a proven fact that whenever you come out with a solution which is going to solve it like a painkiller, it is far better accepted in the market. Your product become instant hit because nobody is looking into it. And this is a pain people are living with it. I can share one example. There is a, recently I read one, watched one YouTube where there is a guy who has made bricks out of the used mask. Everyone was throwing a mask. And this guy collected and he made a brick out of it, the brick which you can use it on the wall. Now his purpose is the pain he wanted to kill, which is getting generated because of a lot of wastage of the mask which is getting used. Now, our request to you is that as an entrepreneur, always ask this question. If at all you have to get into a journey, be very clear why are you getting into a journey and what society or the institute problem you wanted to solve. So this is what I think that, not saying that vitamins are not important, definitely body needs it and so the organization also, but you can be different if you make a solution by providing a painkiller.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Dr. Joshi, absolutely valid point. The grace under fire, it's a beautiful, beautiful point. And which is where some of us, when we have set up systems, set up institutions, we have realized that an entrepreneur has to sometimes run in multiple directions. Sometimes it is high ambition, and sometimes it is just laying under the radar for some time till the time is right, isn't it? Yeah. So all of these are interesting tricks. Yeah, absolutely. Vineet, thank you for the handoff. And I think from what Vineet was saying, it's just a perfect lead off here, because I was also saying last week to all of you that an idea is not equal to a solution and an idea is not equal to a design. So whatever you have taken, if you don't drill it through into a proper business plan, into a proper business design, yeah, you are going to have challenges. Let me leave you with an analogy. Imagine the task at hand is for you to build the next Burj Khalifa, right? If you have to build the Burj Khalifa, can you start without understanding if the ground is going to take the weight? Or if the wind is not going to blow the building over? Or if the structural strength is going to be good enough for you to raise that kind of a building? Or the width of the building itself, will it withstand that kind of height? Those kind of questions. So keep this imagery in your mind from exactly where Vineet was picking up and saying, what you need to do with respect to the making sure that it's the right solution. If your business is a Burj Khalifa, you better get your foundation, ground, soil, structure, map, everything right. Yeah. Please, we can move on. There is a question. There are a couple of questions, I think, Vineet, in the chat window. We can see those.
Okay.
Those people who are network marketing, can we say they are entrepreneurs? Mohit, it's an interesting question about network marketers. I'm going to let this lie because even in the recent times, there has been a court observation on this, and there was a ban that was put in India on multi-level marketing and some of these things. And every year you see a new dream coming up. If you really just ask me, the attempt is to replace the traditional sales channel system with something that is a more handoff. That's what some of these business people are trying to do. So, the idea, one of the things that you need to learn to do is differentiate between an actual business opportunity and a bit of a hive that sometimes even law can scrounge upon. So think about it. Yeah. Like a lot of people ask, why does government of India doesn't allow Forex trading or Bitcoin trading? While you may criticize the government of India, you need to remember that the policies of RBI and SEBI are sometimes the most powerful across the world. And that's why a lot of times India has been able to take the shock. So understand there's always a difference between the right business opportunity, the wrong business opportunity, the right kind of regulation, the wrong kind of regulation, the right kind of aspiration, the wrong kind of aspiration. So Mohit, my advice to you, look for a real business opportunity instead of a get quick rich scheme. In the West, every second person is actually these days trying to tell you how to make $1 million in 6 months. And the rest of the people from the West who are great thinkers, they are trying to help you understand how to deal with your pathetic self if you're not able to deal with the millions. Understand, that's how West is making money, by selling self-help books. None of them are millionaires. They are actually trying to teach you to become a millionaire. And in doing that, they are becoming millionaires by taking your money. So understand how marketing gimmicks work. Okay, let me just leave it there. Vineet, maybe you can talk about it this when your turn comes around. There's another question out there.
Amit has raised a very good question. He's saying, what should be the main aim to launch and startup regarding to the country and people and for ourselves? I think, Amit, your answer lies in the question itself. When you say that what should be the purpose? So if you are going to do something for the society, which is a country for sure, and of course bigger than the country also, the people with which you are living, and for yourself, what gives you a kind of a satisfaction, or what you think you bring it best to the table. All the three things, if you are able to address to a larger extent, that becomes your purpose. And it will not be one idea coming to your mind today, tomorrow something else will come. So keep on looking at it. You have to zero down it, but apply multiple level of filtration when you are doing it. And whatever fits more to the requirement which where you are operating, be it in the country or to your self goals, take that as one of the things. In the same breath, I wanted to add, never ever hesitate that once you have taken a decision to go back and change your decision. Again, a very contrary view I am giving. Many times people say, once you have taken, you stick to it. No, boss, not. We are human beings. We can make mistakes, and better is to correct the mistake on time rather than live with the mistake for your lifetime.
Absolutely. In fact, just extending that, I think we need connecting back into practicality also. There are a couple of questions from Mayank and Atul, where we're actually asking how to put together a plan, get funds from the organization, So here is an answer, Atul, for you, Mayank, everybody. Number one, if you have to really start a business, you have to have the knowledge of how to run a business. And sometimes that can only happen by getting connected with people who know and understand law, legality, funding, design, right? So if you want to set up a plant, you can't do it unless you have good advice from an engineer. Does that make sense, Atul? Yeah. Similarly, if you want funding and things, you need to understand what a bank can give you, what the local IDC can give you, or what a ministry calls out in terms of MSME development or something. What are the schemes running in the country? So you will need to get associated to good people who have education in company secretaryship, chartered accountants, people who are experts in finance. You need to learn from all of these kind of people, which will really help them. Yeah. So that's that. So Vineet, I think keeping in mind. Okay.
Slide. Sai, you wanted to take this one?
Absolutely. Here are some important questions that we would leave with you as you start your business. So Mayank, Atul, going back to your question, and especially Atul, yours. How do I start a plan? See, first up, decide very clearly, are you a startup, a service startup or a product startup? Both of them have very different structures. The product development life cycle is very different from a service development cycle or a service process cycle. Your products may require certifications, your product may require testing, your product may require endorsement. Your product may even be an ancillary product going into a much larger product. So that development cycle is very different. So first part of the plan and question you need to ask is, where am I? And according to that, making a few decisions. You then again have to think about, should I become an entrepreneur or a solopreneur? Which then means, do I set up a full company, or am I going to offer this as my own self along with some loosely held associates? So creating a company, having people on your payroll, having partnerships, those are important discussions to have, as against, hey, I will be a lone wolf and I will do this. In that same light, if a lot of what you're doing is actually sounding like you're doing a job, then might as well go work for a salary instead of hunting and getting things done. Like a lot of people who come from finance or accounting or so many other domains of sales, etc. even when they become consultants, they are actually working like in a job. Then why not have a more secure future? So the other question that you need to ask is, do I do my work as a business or as a job? And within that, then what kind of model of business do I have, which is, do I have very intense customer touch points, or do I have very, very soft touch points? Yeah, so all of those things. Uh, uh, Cost of financing startups, the first thing is no investor will give you money unless you have shown a proof of concept, and which is where you will need to bootstrap. Sometimes bootstrapping is about your own money, sometimes it's about friends and family and a few other people. Then you need to secure and have rounds of funding anywhere from there could be incubation investors that you get the angel investors that you could get, etc. So there's a bunch of processes, Kaushal. But the first step is, if you can't do a POC, if you can't get some money in and or somebody cannot sponsor you, then it will be very difficult to get up and running. Yeah. So there's another question there, Vineet. I'll just answer this. Effective marketing strategy is what woos the audience. Do you think the new marketing strategies could get a boost for bigger future? Affiliate or influencer marketing. So, Gaurang, a very, very simple way to look at this is that it is important for us to differentiate if a business strategy is actually a strategy or if it's a fad. A lot of times there are fads which coming in. Like today, every second person has become a digital marketing expert. Actually, when you ask them to get a conversion of a lead, none of them are able to do it. They will make you spend tons of money on advertisement, and Facebook will earn. But will that translate into earning of leads and products sold, etc. for you? I am yet to see more than one, maybe even 0.5% of digital marketers actually being true. I'm sorry to say, tons of them are actually frauds. Vineet, you can further enumerate on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gaurang, does that make sense? So you need to check if it is really, really existent. Vineet, over to you.
Yeah. So I'll jump to, so Sai has covered the structural questions, and as we said, we are going to have a lot of questions for you. So we have another set of questions which is on the dynamics of the questions. So one is the structural part of it, another is the dynamic part of it. As we noted, entrepreneurship is all about dynamism. Everything is changing every minute and it is evolving. So it at times becomes difficult for you to get into solving all the kind of things which are happening around you. And at the same time, things are changing around you. So these are the 4 questions which we think fall into that category. As an entrepreneur, it is very important for you to decide whether you wanted to get into a volume-driven business or a value-driven business. You can become a Swiggy of the world when you wanted to get into a volume-driven. You can become Apple of the world where you sell one of the most costliest phone in the market. Sometimes you will see that it's easy to service the people, those who have a high value driven kind of a product because the transactions are less. But there is no easy answer or one singular answer, because again, it is linked to the same thing, that what is the purpose for which you wanted to start your business. If your purpose is to serve the masses, your problem solving is for the masses, it can be a volume driven. But if you are coming out with something very, very niche, which is segment wise, it's a very small one, but value wise, it can be a bigger one. It can be value driven. Again, question you have to ask yourself. But this question can only be asked once you have already asked the question of what is the purpose and what problem you wanted to solve in the market. Second is an opportunist or an optimist mindset. I know it might sound a little derogatory to use the word opportunist because we always have a negative connotation about being opportunist. But let me try to clarify what we mean by that. Opportunist, it means that you operate in a market. Sometime in a market, you will get the opportunities. And you are right in picking that opportunity and serving the market. And you are making your business out of it. It can be in way of, like, let's say, just to give an example, healthcare is going to boom in the next few years. And you think that you have a technology, rather than going into X, you wanted to have a startup related to, let's say, health tech or healthcare related kind of a product or education technology. So that's an opportunity you are able to sense in the market, and you wanted to encash that market dynamics to build your system. or your organization. What is an optimist mindset? Optimist mindset is that you are very, very convinced that today nobody is able to see this market, but tomorrow definitely this market is going to be there. And you are convinced and you wanted to get into a lot into making sure that you move in the right direction. The example is, let me give the example of Elon Musk. He knows there is not a big market today for sending us rocket in the space, and that can come back and then go again. But he is very convinced about it. He is very much clear that he wanted to service that area. So that his optimism is driving him every day. So don't take opportunist from a negative side of it. Sometimes you have to look what market is giving it to you and are you ready to service the market accordingly. The third one, which is very related to what Science said in his last presentation also, idea, how it's about an idea. And I personally feel that idea is a standalone thing. Executable idea is the idealistic thing which you should be looking into it. I'm not trying to undermine people, those who only have an idea, because the beginning of anything is an idea. But at the same breath, you also have to see that whether this idea, you have done some work to make it as an executable idea. Because especially when you're going to investors or to customer, everyone wants proof of concept. Proof of concept comes from what executable idea you have. In theory, everything looks good. In hindsight, everyone has a 6x6 vision. But when it has get executed, the confidence of the people in you and your product is far more stronger. They believe in you, they believe that you can do it, and they also believe that you have crossed a lot of hurdles to make it happen. So execution by itself has given you a lot of learning and experience, and therefore people are willing to bet on you, and people are even willing to reward you for that. And next is mentored or tutored. I know a lot of academics and every doctors we have, PhDs we have, and students we have. So these are not the new words to you. The point I wanted to make it here is sometimes you have to get mentored. Sometimes you have to get tutored. But you should know when you need what. And I'm sure everybody knows the difference between mentoring and tutoring. Mentoring is he or she is specifically guiding you something with which you need to struggle with or to solve the problem. Tutoring is with certain set of things which needs to be known before you move into a new journey. So this is much more prescriptive in nature. Mentoring is more dynamic in nature. So as the situation changes, you need an answer, you will go to back to your mentor. He or she will help you out and do it. So you have to choose what you wanted to do. So between structural and dynamics question, that is the way we wanted to say that look at these 8 questions and look at that 5 lenses which we have. This is just not going to be finishing it today. One thing which you should take back from this session is to go back with this 8 questions with 5 lenses. Spend your time individually, spend time in the group, discuss it with your mentor. If you want our help, come back to us. We will try to help you out as much as we can. But go more deeper into these questions. Find out the lenses which are going to work for you. And once you make that informed choices or informed decisions, I think the success will be there for you. Now, since we have raised so many questions, if you have questions, we'll be more than happy to answer. And that's the end of the slide from our side. Feel free to raise questions on a chat box and we will help you out. Okay, so if I look at it, the question, is it important, Amit has raised, is it important to considering the situation of a market if we're going to launch a startup and technology play a key role? Short and simple, yes, definitely it is going to. Can I outsource the software development to an IT company or should I hire engineer? What is generally proved to be financially optimal? So this is, Shashank, you have loaded too many questions into one question. Good that. See, there is no straight answer to it. Software development, sometimes you have to outsource it if it is not too much core to you. If it is core to you, you need to make sure that even if you're outsourcing, you should have some source or some kind of an agreement. Because if that person is going to shut shop, your business should not get stopped. So you have to safeguard your interest, even if you're outsourcing it. Hiring engineer versus outsourcing it. Thumb rule is, if it is not core to you, you can outsource it. If it is core to you, keep it inside, even if it is expensive for you.
Vineet, with your permission, can I answer this question also?
Sure, Pramodji.
Okay, thank you very much. So Shashank, I think what Vineet ji said is right. The first thing you have to figure out is how important is this software to your business. If it is core, then outsourcing is a high risk. What you can do instead is get a CTO, because software is a very important part and you are not a technical guy. It is better to get a partner who is technically very sound and you make him your co-founder. Then he would have the necessary expertise and then he can take a call whether he should outsource, because outsourcing is not just about telling some people these are my specifications, give me back software. They'll make a fool out of you. They'll keep enhancing the code. They'll say ye change ka itna, ye change ka itna. So you need somebody who can manage that relationship, that even if you outsource. Outsourcing is not an easy thing. You have to manage the one you have outsourced it to. For that, you need somebody who has been through software management principles, who has worked on projects, who has been project manager and project director. Now, whether you can get somebody at a young age may not be possible, but it is, I have seen people who pair up with a person with 10 years software development experience and make them a co-founder. So then you too become the driving force, and software being the core becomes a very important thing that your co-founder will focus on.
Just to add to what Pramodji said, very rightly said that what you can outsource and what you cannot. See, in general, you can outsource the work, but you cannot outsource the outcome, because ultimately you are responsible for this thing. So if it takes you too much of energy to manage the outsource, it's not worth it. So you have to be very clear. Many people, and that happens even not in startup, in bigger companies, sometimes outsource becomes such a big fat that, okay, we have outsourced everything. But outsource has a cost to it. There is a cost of supervision. There is a cost of delivery. So keep all those points in mind, even if you're outsourcing it. That control and check should remain with you, not with anyone else. Any more questions? Shivank is saying, until we don't go into the market, we'll not be able to find out it's an idea or an executable one. Am I right? Yes, market, but again, the market is divided into different segments. It can be a pilot market for you. It can be something you have done it at an incubation level, which you are getting it tested at the institute level. Prototyping is very important. That's what we mean by executable idea. Mayank has raised a question, sir, if I need fund and support by government side only because our innovative product is directly related to government sector only and they are the only user, then how to reach? See, Mayank, I think there can be more details specifically your incubator program can answer. But in general, there are a lot of government Startup India programs are there where they even mention how you should approach them for funding. Let me say there are a lot of government support is available today, directly also or through some institutes. You should explore all. Last time somebody asked me what are the different platforms. So I said about one, I can add another one. There is a platform which is called as Y Incubator. You can check it at a Y Incubator also. They also have a lot of entrepreneurs, those who are exchanging their thoughts, and they also get help from them. Okay. Any other question? Shivank, I can explain, but I have to take permission from Pramodji whether we have so much time, because I think I have taken a lot of time. Do I have time, Pramodji, to explain him about a little bit on the prototyping?
Sir, that question we have to ask from Anurag. He is the director. हम तो actor हैं केवल.
Okay. So Anurag, do we have more speakers lined up, or should I answer this question?
No, sir, you can answer the question.
Sorry?
You can answer the question, sir. Okay. We don't have
He's saying that we have enough time and you can answer the question.
Okay. So prototyping in general, because I'm not very much knowledgeable in terms of prototyping, but I can give you a little more from the outline. Whenever you are doing the prototyping, you are considering all the aspects. of how the product will be there, the cost of the product, the serviceability of the product, the audience which it is servicing, and it's a more of a miniature form of launching your product with a very what you say stripped down version of the functionalities of the product. So create a prototype of anything. Suppose you wanted to launch a website or an app for doing the credit card transactions. Of course, you cannot have a million transactions on this. But when you develop a prototype, keep in mind that how the whole cycle will go, how the real transactions will happen. You have to do the load testing, you have to do the crash testing, something of these things you should do so that when you go for a larger form of full-blown launch, these things are taken care of it. It will give you also an idea about how the challenges which you face, what is the acceptability in the market, more like a feedback you get from the people so you can improvise from prototyping to a full project. Naman is saying you can reach out to, okay, he has given it. How to get the chance to demonstrate technology, I think that is answered. I think questions are answered. Is there anything else expected?
I think there is one question which I'm not able to understand. It's from Amit Kumar. So Anurag, is it possible that we can get Amit on the camera and on the mic so he can explain his question?
Yes, sir, I'm giving him the permissions.
Yeah. Because maybe in writing,
yes, maybe he wanted to explain something, probably not coming it that well.
Yes, sir. So Amit, you have the access. You can turn on your camera or unmute yourself.
Yeah, Amit, you can ask your question online.
Okay, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. Can you tell us your background? You're a student or?
Sir, I am a student of first year. I am pursuing my BTech from the JL University.
Oh, first year BTech. Okay, what branch?
Sir, computer science.
Oh, very good. Okay, yeah. What is your question?
Sir, if I am a technical guy, so I'm knowing much more about the techniques like the codings and the other things like. So if I'm going to launch something about these things, so what should be the things that I have to remember, and which platform is suitable for me?
I think you are putting the cart before the horse. समझ में आया? आपको प्लेटफॉर्म क्या चुनना है, दैट इज नॉट वेयर यू विल स्टार्ट. आपको प्रॉब्लम क्या सॉल्व करनी है, उससे आप स्टार्ट करेंगे. और आपकी नॉलेज टेक्निकल कितनी है, वो उससे भी पहले आपको ये पूछना है कि मेरा आइडिया क्या है और एग्जीक्यूटिबल आइडिया उसमें से क्या निकलेगा. जब आपका एग्जीक्यूटिबल आइडिया के बारे में आपको पता लग जाएगा, देन यू विल से अच्छा इसके लिए मुझे ये प्लेटफॉर्म यूज करना पड़ेगा या इसके लिए मुझे अपने स्टार्टअप को इस डायरेक्शन में ले जाना पड़ेगा. तो जैसे विनीत जी और साई जी ने बोला था, it all starts with a question: what problem am I going to solve for society, for people? And then you go to these questions. And the other thing is, you are in first year BTech computer science. I think it will be a while before you can call yourself a technical guy. अगर मैं आपसे अभी databases के बारे में पूछूंगा, तो you will not have a very sound knowledge of databases, right? What is business continuity, उसके बारे में नहीं पता होगा आपको.
Yes, sir. I don't know things about that. If I'm going to further, I'm just asking about that. If I am a future student, like I am involving in these situations, so what should be my opinion?
Your goal should be one, you learn all your courses. I mean, do all your courses with your full heart into it. And don't limit yourself to the syllabus. Go outside the syllabus. Read up on Google. Do online courses. These days, there are so many online courses which are free. Okay. So what students normally do is they try to just do enough to get grades. Okay. Now, that's not the entrepreneurial spirit. The entrepreneur will go beyond that. He will spend 3 extra hours in the night to attend a course on Udemy or Shaw Academy or on any of these, Udacity, etc. So your technical strengths, if that is what you want to focus on, will have to be built outside of your regular classes also. So do the classes well, get 7.58 CGPA is fine, but make sure your knowledge is so sound that any investor investors are also tech savvy, so they'll ask you a few questions and they will know कि कितने पानी में है बंदा. तो और दूसरी बात है, केवल टेक्नोलॉजी से काम नहीं चलेगा. तो आपके पास अभी 4 साल हैं, फर्स्ट ईयर में हैं आप. You should know how to do relationship building, relationship management, how to get help from people, networking. That's a very important quality of a good entrepreneur or a future entrepreneur. So learn how to learn and learn how to connect. These are very important skills. So don't be one of those coders who is sitting in his room and only talking to his computer. Come outside, meet people, seniors, alumni, mentors, go to IEDC, spend some time there, find out what others are doing. Okay, because
Okay, sir.
good entrepreneurs are actually keeping a watch on everything, including their competitors.
So just to add,
Thank you, sir.
saying Amit,
Thank you, sir, for my answering.
Amit, today's world, your network is your net worth. So keep that in mind when you are interacting with the people. And in entrepreneurship, 2 plus 2 is not 4. You have to, it's not that I know one platform, I'll be successful. Now you have to keep on evolving what is required to become an entrepreneur. Maybe one platform is there and a lot of things you will come to know as you progress. But first, answer your fundamental questions. Be ready with your purpose. Be ready with an idea. And every idea may have a different platform for it. Maybe if you have a technical product, technical service, there is a different platform. But yes, definitely, I'm sure even at a GLA, you will have some basic infrastructure is there. People are there, those who are your seniors and your faculties. A lot of information will be available to you with respect to different platforms or government organizations are there.
I think there is one question from Shivank about how to make a revenue model.
Thank you, sir, for answering.
Okay, welcome. I think Shivank, you have enough resources online. This is going to take a while to answer. The best is do a little homework, go online, find out. There'll be videos on how to make a revenue model. There'll be boot camp kind of things, so you will get to know there. And then you have more refined questions. You can ask Vineet ji or Sai ji. थोड़ा होमवर्क करके आना चाहिए. आप ये ऐसे वेबिनार्स में आपको ये नहीं पूछना चाहिए कि चपाती कैसे बनाते हैं. आपको ये पूछना चाहिए कि आटा गूंथते समय क्या मैं पानी के अलावा मट्ठा भी यूज कर सकता हूँ. आपको कुछ आइडिया है इसका? तो आपने चपाती कैसे बनानी है यार, वो तो बेसिक हो गया ना, वो तो करके आओ. उसके बाद सवाल पूछ सकते हो कि आटा गूंथते समय मैं क्या उसमें अजवाइन डाल सकता हूँ, क्या वो रोटी जब बनेगी उसमें अजवाइन का टेस्ट आएगा नहीं आएगा. तो उससे लगता है कि आप कुछ करके आए हो. दैट वुड गूगल बाबा के रहते आप पहले गूगल बाबा से बातचीत करो, उनसे अपने सवालों के जवाब पूछो और फिर यू कम टू मोर रिफाइंड विद मोर रिफाइंड क्वेश्चंस. दैट वुड बी माय सजेशन, शिवांग.
So Prakhar, just to answer, I think I will try to tell you that this answer should come from you, that whether quality of people is better or a quantity of people. I think it is no brainer, whether it is in entrepreneurship, whether is it in any other walks of life, your quality of people definitely leads. However, when you are looking at quality of people, you should know what quality you are looking. So it doesn't mean that somebody has to be XYG qualified if you wanted to put it on a frontline sales. There are different skills, there are different criteria of evaluating people. So quality of life should be betterly defined, because there is nothing called as he's a good guy or he's a good employee or a bad employee. And you should know what is good stands for your company and your role, and then define about it. So a lot of people have, Pramodji here, have a question about multi-level marketing.
No, I think it's the same person having multiple questions on that subject.
Oh, okay. I thought there must be some wave going on about the multi-level marketing.
हाँ, वो वेव आती रहती है 4-5 साल चलती है, फिर वो डूब जाते हैं लोग, फिर नए सिरे से कोई आके उल्लू बनाता है.
थोड़ा इजी मनी की तरफ मत जाइए, मेरा ये सजेशन रहेगा सबको कि आप इतने लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट की तरफ मत देखिए. द वेरी रीजन दे आर लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट इज बिकॉज अदर पीपल आर नॉट catching them, therefore they are low hanging fruit. So you should not get into a trap of taking the low hanging fruit.
See,
Do some more
yeah.
methodical research.
Yeah, so just to add to that, I think network marketing does not create new value, it redistributes value. Okay, so there are some people, because what is multi-level marketing or network marketing? Ultimately, it's all about, they are taking the supply chain, and they are trying to have intermediaries there. And some intermediaries, because of it's like, some people call it a Ponzi scheme also. Ultimately, people who are at the top of the chain, they start driving you, and you, depending on where you are in the chain, you may be just a cog in the wheel. So they will show you a lot of great pictures about the future when you will be rich, but easy money is never something that's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not chasing money. Entrepreneurship is chasing a dream to solve a problem that will help many